another season, another couple of season preview thingy guides. I should have said thingy after guides. From me, Riyoga. It's fall 2015 this time, and there's a lot of shows as per usual, so, let's just get right into it. As per usual, as my little, disclaimer or whatever, this is all purely pretty much speculation. We're just going off, I'm just going off this chart, which just gives an image, a plot synopsis. I know a little bit more about some shows because I look up information now, so I can get a little bit of staff members down when I write down anything that's notable about that. So sometimes I know a little bit more about them. I may have seen a promo for a couple of shows, so I might know a little bit there. But largely, by far, it's just speculation. You don't know how a show turns out until you actually watch it as it airs, and you know, like that. So keep that in mind as I'm going over these shows, but the ultimate goal is to help you decide what shows you may be interested in watching and giving a shot and such like that. And with the little bit of extra staff information I get nowadays, it is hopefully more helpful than it was before, where I went just off the chart. So let's get right into it. First we have, oh god, okay, no we don't. First we have is Kyofu Zombie Neko. A cat is suddenly resurrected from the grave and begins to wander around town. Despite being a zombie, the cat is able to get all the townsfolk to fall in love with it. That sounds kind of adorable, and I would watch it, except that I'm probably never going to find subs for it anywhere. It's one of those shows where obviously, like, it's not going to get licensed by Crunchyroll, Funimation, any of them. Like, they don't give a shit. And then it's a matter of if some random person on the internet feels like translating it for anyone. Which very rarely happens, with a couple of exceptions, like when there's some special reason. I don't fucking know. If someone translates that, I'd totally watch it. I mean, I'd fucking do it. I mean, it's obviously a short. You can tell just by the promo picture, and I looked up the staff, and it's done by a studio that has done a lot of shorts, pretty much, so more shorts. Some of the shorts the studio has done, I wrote down and mentioned that they're most shorts that people don't really know about, because there's a couple shorts that people watch that aired, because, what was that one? I Can't Understand My Husband or something? I think Crunchyroll actually picked that one up and translated it, so, like, there are shorts that people know about, but these are shorts that, like, no one ever licensed, that this studio's done, Kachidoki Studio. I don't know why I felt that was important to mention it, but I wrote it down, and I didn't want to waste my time figuring that out, so I thought I would say that. So, cool. Moving on, we have Kamisama Minarai Himitsu no Kokotama. Kokotama. I want hot chocolate now. Kokotama are tiny gods born from the thoughts and feelings of objects that people use with great care. The fact that Kokotama wear part of the egg they hatch out of as underwear, is proof that they are still apprentices. The Kokotama are use a mysterious magic, and they train hard to be of use to humans and to become full gods. They live inside human houses and stealthily move around to help humans find things they have lost, although they make many mistakes. So they aren't omnipotent, I guess, or something. I don't fucking know. Part of me wants to also say this is a short, but the animation style and the promo image makes me seem like it just might actually be a normal full-length show, but just, you know, more aimed at kids. It could be either way. It's probably a full-length show. It'd be kind of weird if it was. It seems like the kind of premise that would lend itself to shorts, but hey, who knows. Staff-wise, it's the director's first full gig on something, so he doesn't really have much experience directing, so this is his first, you know, primary director gig. And then the rest of the staff did things. I literally wrote rest of staff isn't very notable, which means that they either didn't do much, although I usually specify that they're new if that's the case, or if they just did a bunch of shit that are just shows I don't really care about, I just write that they're not notable. Because nothing really stands out as far as any works they've done. If they've just done a bunch of mediocre shows, who cares, right? That doesn't really say anything. Because it's, you know, I mean, maybe it's fucking great, you never know. Like, sometimes someone can work on a bunch of mediocre shows for a long time and then suddenly work on something great, you never know. But as far as what they've done so far, nothing really notable. Moving on, we have Lupin the Third, a new Lupin TV series. The story of the new series will take place in Italy and San Marino, which is unsurprising because Lupin is fucking insanely popular in Italy. It's one of those cultural things, kind of like Dragon Ball Z and Saint Seiya in, like, Spain and Spanish-speaking countries. Lupin the Third is, like, Italy's godsend. Like, apparently, I've never been to Italy, but I've heard, from people that you can, like, gift shops will sell shit with, like, Lupin stuff on them. Like, it's actually, like, he's practically a cultural icon in Italy. It's crazy. So, unsurprisingly, new Lupin the Third base it in Italy, because why not? Staff-wise, there is 2 directors on this show, which is interesting. One of them just did, I remember I looked him up, he just did some stuff here and there, nothing really too notable. And the other one, who is a lot older, did some key animation on an older Lupin series, which was Lupin the Third Part 2, which is the one that aired from 1977 to 1980. Obviously he was just the animation, he did key animation for it. That doesn't mean he didn't really direct it, he didn't really do much, you know, as far as making, behind the scenes making the show, kind of. Because he did key animation. That was not the best way to word that. He wasn't much on the production side as far as, like, people telling other people what to do and, like, how the show was going to be shaped. He was the one being told to do things, and he did it, because he did the key animation. He wasn't the key animation director or anything. Anyways, him doing key animation in the older Lupin series doesn't really mean too much. It means he's been exposed to Lupin before, which might be why they have him on as, like, a second director, although there are a lot of other people that would have been better choices, probably, so I don't know what was up with the thinking there. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe he's just been to Italy before, and they're like, this guy worked on Lupin, he's been to Italy, he'll help. I don't know. Odds are most people are going to watch this just because everyone knows what Lupin is, and are like, well, it's Lupin, I should probably watch it. You know, I'm going to watch it, so it's fucking Lupin. Watch it and make up your minds. It was completely pointless for me to go over, you know, any of this information because it's Lupin. Who cares? Everyone's going to give it a go. I don't know why I waste my time sometimes with some of these shows, because it's like something that's stupid popular, and then it's like, no matter what I say, people are going to give it a go anyways, or it's something that people hate, and no matter, well, actually, sometimes I'm able to convince people to watch shows that they wouldn't normally touch. I'm wasting time talking about stupid shit, but I do this every time, no one should be surprised. Moving on, we have Lance and Masks. The battle action novel series revolves around Yotaro Hanafusa, a young man who is part of the last remaining order of knights in the 21st century, Knights of the World. As he fights as the mysterious knight Lancer, he must hide his identity behind a mask. I don't know why, he just has to. One day, he meets a girl named Makio Kidoin, and when finding that she lives alone, he decides to watch over her. So, it could actually be kind of interesting, you know, he's like trying to help the world, I guess, based on that premise, and then he finds this girl that's kind of lonely, and he gets a bit attached to her and tries to help her out. The first thing that really sticks out to me from the promo image is that the art looks really, like, oldie. Like, you know, like, the whole jokes about the Hidamari sketch, like, whiteface kind of thing? Like, it looks kind of like that, except, like, you know, drawn in, like, the 90s, almost. Like, the hair looks modern, but the faces look like, you know, 90s level wide anime faces. It's kind of weird. It's a very interesting art choice. Considering I looked at the light novel, and the light novel art looks pretty modern, so I don't know. Kind of weird. Staff-wise, the director did some episode directing here and there on a lot of different shows. I didn't specify anything specifically. It must have just been whatever shows. However, he did fully direct Shigatsu, Your Lie in April, which is interesting. There were a lot of little directing bits in Shigatsu that I liked. There were other bits in Shigatsu directing-wise that I did not like. So it's hard to say if this guy's a good director or not, because there's bits that were like, that was cool, and then there's other parts that are like, why are we doing this? Of course, it's hard to say for sure what was the director's part and then what was just in the original source work that he was adapting from. So it's hard to say for sure on that end. I tried to figure out what was going on with the character design, so I looked up, and the character designer and animation director are brand new. And so is the music guy. So the character designer, the animation director, and the music guy are all brand new. Like, they have not worked on anything, not even, like, minor, unless they're not credited or something. All three of them, first show. So that's kind of interesting. It'll be interesting to see how the music turns out, and, I'm still confused about the character design with the new character designer. I guess maybe it's just his style. I mean, if he can work with it pretty well, go for it, you know, maybe drawing him that way makes it easier for him to do, like, actual animation, rather than just, you know, still frames and stuff like that. I don't know. The other thing that's really interesting about Lance and Masks, though, other than, that, is that the actual creator, the person who writes the light novel, is the one who wrote the anime script. Like, he was credited as the scriptwriter for this show. So he, like, had a direct, hands-on approach to what's going to be in this anime. I mean, obviously, it's still up to the director and such to, like, portray it. But it's interesting that the light novel author actually took the time to write the script for the anime. So at the very least, people won't be able to complain about adaptations. Because even if it's bad, it's like, well, the creator wrote it, so hey. I mean, I guess they can complain in that regard, but you know. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all. That's what I wrote down. I don't know why I bothered to specify that instead of just moving on. Moving on! Young Black Jack. Young Black Jack is a prequel to Osamu Tezuka's classic series about a brilliant maverick doctor who practices without a license. I never knew the guy who wrote Blackjack is very old, and he's written a lot of stuff. Like, I was going through his credit list to, like, make sure that he also wrote this prequel, Young Blackjack, its manga version, which he did. He also wrote, like, 20 fucking billion other things, apparently, that I had no idea. So that was interesting to learn. Anyways, staff-wise, the director on this did, Saikano, also, callback, Restaurant, yeah, I'm gonna fuck this up, Restaurant Paradiso. I don't actually know. It's weird, because, you know, obviously it's the title of an anime, but it's, like, almost Italian-esque. I don't fucking know. I'm insulting so many people right now with my interpretation of how this is pronounced. Anyways, and then she also did episode directing and storyboarding all across the board. But full directing-wise, those were the most noticeable. Saikano and Restaurant Paradiso. The script writer, interestingly, on this is, he did the 1980s Astro Boy and other old stuff, which is interesting. The studio itself has done a lot of older stuff too, which included that 1980s Astro Boy and then the one in 2003. They also did a bunch of other stuff. I just mentioned Astro Boy because that's the most recognizable name. I looked at the staff. There's a decent amount of people on staff for Young Black Jack that are pretty old. So it would actually be, despite the more modern animation, I've seen some screenshots because obviously this took a while to come out. This chart wasn't finalized until September 30th, and I always wait for it to be finalized because some shows get announced at the last minute and such. So I'm a little bit late on this, like 2 days into the next season? I don't fucking know. I've seen shots, and the animation's pretty fucking modern for Young Black Jack, but a lot of the staff members on board are, like, older. So it wouldn't be surprising if, despite the modern animation, it had a more oldie kind of feel to it. The director, though, isn't that old. She looks like she's in his, like, her 40s, maybe? I don't know, it's hard to tell. A lot of the time, because, like, people's ages aren't listed on their pages, so it's really hard. I just have to guess. I've always been bad at guessing ages, though. Fun fact. I think that's pretty much it, yeah. I don't know. Why do I have to keep specifying? That's pretty much it. Normally, when I'm done, I'm just, like, moving on, because taking the time to be like, yeah, that's pretty much it, is it, like, stops everything, and then I have to bring it back up when I go to the next show, instead of just going, all right, next show, and keeping the momentum going. Then I just have to ramble about random shit to get the energy back up, and because I can't help but do it because I'm me. Moving on, we have Hacka Doll the Animation, anime adaptation of Dina's Hacka Doll news app. Don't know how the fuck this is gonna work. The anime personifies the app's customization engine as 3 Hacka Dolls. I still think it's hilarious that they're called Hacka. The personal entertainment AI and main navigator Hacka Doll number 1, the anime expert, probably should say expert Hacka Doll number 2, and the knowledgeable otaku Hacka Doll 3. There's a bit of overlap with 2 and 3, it seems. The Hacka Doll app delivers a customized feed of news for each user. The user answers some simple questions when launching the app for the first time, and then the app will filter the news that caters to the user's personal interests. Boys love, cosplay, anime, manga, games, light novels, voice cast members, and more. Seems like it's a cool app. No fucking clue how it's gonna work as a show. Do I have anything staff-wise written down? The show is 10-minute shorts, which is kind of weird. It seems like it'd fit in, like, fucking 3-minute shorts, if anything. But they're 10-minute shorts. Just by the premise, it's like no one gives a shit. Like, why would you watch this? So I think in order to balance that out, I wrote down that if you want to hear some newish voice actresses, you should watch this. Because, I think with the exception of one of them, most of the other 2 have, like, barely done anything. The exception is that all 3 of them were in Wake Up Girls and their spin-offs. If you've seen that, they played 3 of them. Wake Up Girls was, like, one of those idol shows, I believe. Just going off the image, because I didn't watch Wake Up Girls. I just looked at their voice credits for the voice actresses. It's a show about girls becoming idols or whatever. I think it's some, like, people were saying it was darker or something. I don't know. Weird. Anyways, three of them, they did 3 of the girls on that. So it's almost like someone on board for this, like, saw them in that show and was like, I like them, they have good chemistry or something like that, and then picked them up, and bam, Hacka Doll animation credits. It's kind of like that one thing that happened in Sorgasei where they became an idol group. Sorgasei was nice. I liked it. Anyways, moving on, we have Miss Monochrome the Animation 3. I can't believe there's a 3rd season of this. But then again, I haven't watched any of it, so maybe it's actually kind of good. I don't fucking know. I actually mentioned when the very first season came out, maybe it was interesting, and it could be interesting, and then I never gave it a shot. But whatever. If you've seen the other seasons of Miss Monochrome, here's the 3rd season, so hey, there you go. Moving on, we have Kagewani. The new form of panic suspense animation begins when mysterious monsters suddenly appear in the present day and attack humans. The scientist Sosuke Bamba pursues the truth with the key word Kagewani, which literally translates to shadow crocodile. Weird. Maybe that's the eye that he's like in that promo image. Like it's a crocodile, but it's like a shadow crocodile. Looks more like a crow eye though. Anyways, the director on this did some episode. Wow, good writing, Riyoga. He did some episodes of Yamishibai, which was that 2 spooky shorts. I think they were 4-minute shorts. But it was basically like kids around, like it was almost like a fucking Goosebumps level thing where they were like, let's talk about a ghost story or something, you know, around the campfire kind of thing. I don't know for sure. I didn't actually watch Yamishibai, but it was basically a bunch of short horror stories that were told in whatever. I don't know. And then the script guy on board for this did Yamishibai. And then he also is doing a show that's further down the chart that we'll get to, which is interesting because it's similar to this one in a way. Anyways, the reason to watch this is because it's advertising as its new form of panic suspense animation, whatever the fuck that means. So if you want to see a new experimental animation style, you should probably watch some Kagewani. And it's a short, so it's not gonna take too much of your time. I'll give it a go because I want to see what's up with this panic suspense animation. See how that looks. Yep, watch it for the animation style and see if you like it, I guess. Moving on. We have Heavy Object. The story revolves around objects, powerful, massive weapons that change the course of warfare, and elite object pilots. An odd elite girl named Melinda meets Quenzer, a student who aims to become it should be an object mechanic, with the soldier in training Hevia on a snowy battlefield. I can't help but do that, man. I just correct everything in my head. This is the show that not the most amount of people are excited for this season. We'll get to that show later. But I'm theorizing is going to be the show that once it starts, once the season is going, this is going to be one of either the show or maybe just one of these shows that people are talking about quite a bit. And the reason for that is because the person who writes the light novel for Heavy Object is the same guy who writes the Utawarerumono series, who wrote Index and Railgun. Same dude. This is his brand new light novel that he's writing. Or maybe it's not brand new. I don't know when he started, but I'm saying other than the Index and Railgun universe. He's finally going out of that universe. Watch the last novel have like some twist in it where it's actually been in the same universe the entire time or some shit. I don't fucking know. Anyways, so it's probably going to be that kind of show where people are like, this is actually kind of cool, and then people are talking about it, and then a lot of people are watching it. At least that's my theory. Staff-wise, yeah, the light novel's written by the same guy. I already said that. The director did all the seasons of Shanna, so I'm obligated to watch this show by, like, fucking Blood Pact or some shit. Although that doesn't mean too much. I'm gonna be honest, as much as I love Shanna, it's not really the directing. There's not too much, like, amazing directing-wise about Shanna. A little bit here and there, but Shanna has largely, like, kind of simple, straightforward directing. But it really works with the way that the series is written. Like, the simplistic directing really fits with the events that happen and things that go on with characters. It's almost old-timey in a way. I don't know. I still need to review Shanna at some point. I'll get there someday. I'm not going to review it until I'm confident, because why the fuck would you review your favorite show before you feel like you're ready to do it, you know? It's going to be crazy when I do. But before I go on a long tangent about that, I'm going to move on to not the next show, but the next bit of staff thing. The sound director is also from Shanna. I'm guessing they just kind of pulled over a couple of the Shanna people. But maybe not, because the sound director also did some stuff recently. Most recently that I'm mentioning is Arslan Senki, which had some fucking great sound directing. It made up a lot for the fight animation being subpar a lot of the time. It was really good at times. Like, a lot of the one-on-one fights, you could tell that's where all the attention went. Those were pretty fucking cool. But the, you know, the large, like, army fights, the fight animation was just really subpar. But I mean, it's a bunch of expendable people, you know, fucking stabbing at each other, so who gives a shit? There were exceptions, like when important characters were doing things and the animation was, like, really bad. And the sound directing really made up for that in Arsene Senki. It's some fucking great sound directing. It's not even necessarily the directing, just the sounds themselves that were done was a lot. And it was the same with Shanna. There's a lot of, like, unique sounds from Shanna that, were really cool. So assuming that's the sound director's, you know, credit, he's really good at making new sounds that are, really neat sounding. They're very iconic in a way. As far as, I went overboard with the number of, like, what the staff did on this show, because I don't know, I guess I want to pull people in to watch this with me because I'm obligated to watch it, and I'll feel better the more people that watch it or something. I don't know. Anyways, there's 2 people on music. One of them just did a couple shows, like, Bitum and Danmachi. That's pretty much most of what he's done. And then the other guy is the one who did the Index and Railgun music. So my theory is that they wanted a new guy on the music because it's a new universe and stuff like that, but at the same time, a lot of people like Index and Railgun's music, so they wanted to bring him back for his, like, counseling in a way, to, like, help out with the music, to give it the same kind of, like, cool feel despite the new, universe and the new sound that they're going for overall. They wanted the feeling of, you know, the I don't know. That's just my theory. I don't know if that's actually why they brought him back, but that's what I'm sticking with. Anyways, and then the series composition guy worked on both Magi seasons, which I really liked, which I get a little bit of, just a tiny bit of flack for, that I like the Magi anime more than the manga. But, you know, that's how it goes. I think that's all I wrote staff-wise, so before I spend way too much time on this, it's fall. There's a lot of fucking shows, and we need to get through these. And I say this every season. There's so many shows, we have to get through all of them. And then I spend all my time talking, because it's what I fucking do. It's me. It's Riyoga on a fucking plate? Why plate? Why that analogy? Whatever. Moving on, we have Noragami Arigato. Not arigato. Is it arigato? Is that how it's spelled? I don't whatever. Noragami Arigato. Or Arigato. Whatever. It's this. Who fucking cares? It's the sequel. It'll adapt the manga's popular Bishamon arc. If I remember, it's been a while since Noragami aired. Bishamon is the blonde-haired chick. I think. Again, it's been a while since Noragami aired. It's more Noragami! Yay! Noragami was neat. I liked it. I want to watch more. Here we go. More Noragami. Sequels are easy to cover. Moving on, we have K Return of the Queen. Oh, this is my favorite row. Watch this. K Return of the Kings. It's the sequel to the K Missing Kings movie. I would like to watch this because I like the original K, but I haven't seen the movie yet, so I can't watch this. So I need to find and watch the movie somehow, and then I'll watch this season. If you've already seen the movie, you're set. Watch this season. Moving on. Next show. Sokyu no Fafu Did Aggressor Exodus 2nd season. Oh my god, it's a sequel to that other season that aired like 2 or 3 seasons ago. If you watch that and you need more of Sokyu no Fafner, bam, here's your 2nd season. Bam, done. Moving on. Itoshi no Moku 3rd season. Oh my god, a 3rd season of something. Holy shit. If you've seen the first 2 seasons of this, or maybe you're just like that promo image, it seems like it's a DLE flash animation short and you want to watch this, here you go. It's the 3rd season of it. Moving on. Oh my god, what is this? Kintachi Shonen no Jinkenpei R 2nd season, another sequel. If you saw the 1st season of this, which aired like 2 or 3 seasons ago, then here you go. Here's your 2nd season. It's finally airing. Sweet. That was my favorite row. That was so fast. I love sequels, man. Just fucking blaze through them. Saves so much time. Anyways, finally on a show I can actually talk about, Gakuzentoshi Asterisk. In the previous century, humanity was attacked by an unprecedented disaster, the impact Invertia, or Invertia. The whole world was destroyed. Well, that's morbid. However, humans acquired a new potential, the Genestella. That sounds like a fucking sex organ, the Genestella. Anyways, I don't have much to say about this as far as just off the promo image. It looks pretty. It looks like A1 Pictures A-Team is on it because of how pretty it is. Staff-wise, there are 2 directors. there's two directors, that like a normal director and then a chief director. And the chief director did Mahoka and a good amount of Saki stuff. Like the Mahjong show. I think he did it. I think he did the A-side spinoff, or maybe that was someone else. I don't know. He did a fair amount of the Saki stuff though, like the main original season of it at least. And then he also did A Channel. I don't know why I put an ellipses and A Channel. Like that's literally what I wrote. I don't know. I never even watched A Channel. I don't know if that's a bad thing. It was interesting that he did Mahoka. I didn't like Mahoka, obviously. I even made a video about its issues. Didn't like Mahoka much, but directing wise, there was actually a bit of things that Mahoka did that I did like. There was just as much stuff that I didn't like. But there were a couple bits of Mahoka directing wise that I thought were neat if it was in a better show. So it could turn out interesting, but he's the chief director. Chief director. So he is the top dog. I was thinking of a series director. Sometimes there's a series director for shows and they're a little hands off because they're directing like, you know, the series itself. And then they have like a main director on like that specific show. But this is chief director, not series director. I'm stupid. So that's the chief director's credits. I didn't list anything else at all, so I'm guessing no one else was notable. So there's that. Moving on, we have Rakudai Kishi no Cavalry. For some reason, the promo image makes me think of literally the last show I just covered, Gaku Sentoshi and Asterisk. I don't know why, but they feel like they're the same show. I guess it's just the look of the, like, the uniforms, because it's, like, one of those, like, high-tech sci-fi kind of, like, uniforms they would wear. Or not that the uniforms themselves are high-tech and sci-fi, but, like, you can tell they go to, like, a high-tech sci-fi university or school or whatever based on how the uniform is designed. Whatever, I'm rambling about stupid shit. The school sword action story revolves around magic knights, modern magic users who fight with weapons converted from their souls. Iki Kurogane goes to a school for these magic knights, but he is the failed knight, or worst one, who is failing because he has no magical skills. However, one day he is challenged to a duel by Stella, a foreign princess, and the #1 student. In this duel, the loser must be obedient for life. So that's probably going to be one of those things where it's like, oh my god, he can't use magic, he's so bad. And then she challenges him to a duel, but his, like, literal sword skills are, like, god tier. So then she gets beaten, and then she's like, oh no, I have to be obedient for life. And then he probably says something like, no, that's okay, you don't have to be obedient for life. And she does it anyways because she actually likes him, and she just has to go along with it, but she has to pretend not to because she's tsundere. It's probably something like that, just a guess. I don't actually know for sure, that really is just a guess. Staff-wise, the director did Baka Test and the Fate Ilia series, so actually knows how to do some comedy. I guess the Fate Ilia one is arguable. A lot of people, there are a fair amount of people that don't like Fate Ilia, but I thought it needed more jokes, but the jokes Fate Ilia had were actually pretty funny. Like, I remember the first episode of the second season, where Rin and Goldilocks are fighting. I call her Goldilocks because it's like locks of hair almost, and they were gold. Anyways, there are funny bits in Fate Ilia, and I like Baka Test. It's pretty amusing. So, a director that knows decent comedy, although comedy isn't listed as one of the genres, but it could just be a mistake. It seems like it's a little bit more serious based on the promo art, but who knows. The music is being done by Kotaro Nakagawa, and if I wrote his name, he must have been significant, and he is. For those of you who don't know Kotaro Nakagawa, he did the music for Code Geass and Gothic, and most recently, Prison School. Yeah, he does some good soundtracks. They're pretty damn good. I remember when I saw him listed as doing the music for Prison School, and it's like, he'll probably do something a bit different, and I mean, it is a bit different, but like style-wise of like the scale of like, oh my god, significant, important things are happening is still there, which is really cool. If anything, and the show turns out to be complete trash, which it might, I mean, if you look at her clothes are fucking torn to pieces in the promo art already, it's like, Jesus Christ, it's just the promo art, don't get ahead of yourselves. I was gonna make a bad joke. I already made a bad joke, it's what I do. Even if the show turns out to be fucking awful, which, based on my opinion, speculation-wise, probably going to be, even if the show ends up sucking, you might want to keep an eye out, or ear out, I guess, for the soundtrack, because it could potentially be quite good, because Kotaro Nakagawa's behind it, so just keep that in mind. Moving on, we have Owari Monogatari, the final season arc of the Monogatari series. That's a good one. It's not the final fucking season. I'm guessing, like, maybe sequentially it takes place, like, as the last arc? I don't fucking know. You know there's gonna be more fucking Monogatari. It prints fucking money. So far, at least. So, why would they fucking stop? Anyways, this is for people who watch Monogatari anyways. This is like the billionth season of it. So if you've been watching it, there you go. Bam. Next we have, oh god, Utawarerumono. Utawarerumono. Itsuwari no Kamen. Never saying that again. Related to the Utawarerumono TV series. The nameless protagonist awakens to find himself standing in the middle of a vast, snowy plain he doesn't recognize. Suffering from amnesia, he remembers nothing about himself. Suddenly, he's attacked by an insect-like creature, but is saved by a beautiful girl with animal ears and a tail named Kuon. She named him Haku. Oh. Yeah. So about this, the staff-wise, the director did both Data Live seasons, and he's actually doing the first Digimon Try movie, which is interesting. A lot on his plate with that Digimon Try movie. It's important to note that also, I think everyone on the staff for this show didn't do the original one of this or whatever. I don't even know when the first original thing of this aired. It was like fucking early 2000 or something. I don't know. I was supposed to write it down and I forgot to do it because I suck. Anyways, this is an adaptation of like a fucking old as shit VN. Well, maybe it's not old as shit, but it's kind of old. But it's definitely like old schoolsy VN visual novel type of feel to it, which actually I kind of want to see. The problem is I don't know if you need to have seen the original to see this. Odds are you don't, because it's been so long. Usually they like make it so it's approachable despite being like related to something that aired already. I'm sure someone who knows can confirm it in the comments, whether you need to have seen the original to watch this or not. My guess is no. You can watch this even without having seen the original TV series. And if I get the confirmation that I can, then I actually kind of want to watch it, because I'm actually kind of in the mood for like an old schoolsy visual novel type of show. It could be remarkably average in every regard for all I know, but I don't know. It's just the feel and tone of like one of those visual novels of old is kind of appealing to me. It's probably because it's been a while since I've gotten into a good visual novel, so I want to kind of dive back into that a little bit. I don't know. That's maybe just a bit of it.